The bad trait of every zodiac sign. The dark side of the zodiac signs. What characteristics make certain zodiac signs unbearable? Each of the 12 zodiac signs has its own unique character traits. Some of them are undoubtedly positive. For example, Cancers are extremely caring, Capricorns are hardworking and ambitious, and Scorpios are loyal. However, each zodiac sign also hides its much larger dark side. We all have toxic traits as they are part of our personality. All 12 signs also have toxic personality traits that make them sometimes difficult to get along with. However, what is really important is to identify them and learn how to control or change them. Aries. Aries, as the first sign of the zodiac, is usually full of energy and initiative. However, when his energy is too strong, he can become aggressive and impulsive. Their most toxic trait is their lack of impulse control. Because of this, they sometimes behave like emotional terrorists. Aries easily lose their balance and then often become irritable and even aggressive. They are always pushing in conversations, which can lead to conflicts. Aries tend to make rash decisions without thinking about the consequences. Aries are characterized by their dominance, demanding nature and impulsiveness. For this reason, your relationship can become toxic if you impose your ideas too much and leave no room for listening to the suggestions of others. It is important that you are not always the one who wants to be right and do what you want. To mitigate these character traits, Aries should work on patience and listening to others. Above all, it pays to use your strong will and determination in a way that doesn't violate the rights of others. Taurus. Although Taurus are reliable people to talk to about anything, they can also be very selfish people and spend much more than necessary. The most toxic trait is selfishness. This is due to the fact that people of this sign value comfort and material goods. In their negative form, these tendencies turn into greed, selfishness, and disrespect for the needs of others. This can lead to many conflicts with loved ones. Tauruses are known for their unwavering tenacity and desire for security. When these traits are taken to extremes, they can be stubborn and adamant in their beliefs, which is a direct path to arguments. They have a materialistic approach to life. How to deal with this? Taurus, open yourself up to new experiences and perspectives. It's helpful for you to realize that security isn't always about shiny things and values, but can also come from a sense of self-worth and self-confidence. Gemini. Gemini is characterized by their energetic nature and ability to adapt quickly to the capricious twists and turns of fate. When their energy becomes unstable, they struggle with indecision and inconsistency. This affects interpersonal relationships. Their weakness for distraction and constant shifting of interests can lead to difficulty in consciously accomplishing one task for long periods of time. Their most toxic trait is abruptness, i.e., excessive directness. Since Gemini's guardian planet is Mercury, the planet that symbolizes communication, people born under this sign love to learn new information and discuss various topics. However, sometimes they can be tactless and say a few words too much, thus hurting the feelings of others. A good practice for Gemini is to develop the ability to discipline their energy. It is recommended to learn to value deeper and more meaningful relationships, and to cherish the feelings of your loved ones. Cancer. Cancer is a very sensitive and caring zodiac sign. When these traits come to the forefront, Cancer can be perceived as overly emotional and unable to think logically in complex situations. Cancer is characterized by melancholy and a tendency toward depression. Constant looking back to the past can lead to unhealthy behaviors and inhibitions. Cancers can be hypersensitive to criticism, making it difficult for them to have honest and frank discussions. Your most toxic trait is manipulating the emotions of others. You should try to control this part of your being more. Keep in mind that if you are always in a bad mood, arguments with friends, partner, and family can easily arise. Discussions that others are not willing to put up with. To balance these traits, we recommend that Cancer focus on managing their emotions. Don't let them dominate your logical thinking. Learn to face the future with optimism and openness so you don't get stuck in the past. Lions. The lion is known for his strength, courage, and charisma. Although he is usually perceived as a nice party animal, he also has an arrogant, bossy, and self-centered personality. Without feeling guilty, he is oblivious to the needs and feelings of others. Sometimes he struggles to get attention, and this causes tension. The most toxic trait of the lion is narcissism and vanity. The radical ego that characterizes the lion can turn into a perpetual thirst for attention that cannot be quenched. Lions love to be the center of attention and are usually popular. However, sometimes people born under this sign seek attention in inappropriate circumstances. Not getting it, they try to get their own, making real scandals. Develop humility and respect for others. Realize that true leadership is service, not absolute power. Virgo. Virgo has an analytical nature and attention to detail recorded by the stars. This sometimes leads to being overly critical of both herself and others, which does not have a positive effect on interpersonal relationships. She is a born perfectionist, which can cause unnecessary stress and frustration. In addition, Virgo may want to take control of situations at all costs, so she lacks spontaneity and joy. Virgo's most toxic trait is excessive criticism. Virgins are excellent observers and do not miss even the smallest detail, so they are able to give others kind and helpful advice. But sometimes this advice turns into unnecessary criticism, which instead of motivating you to action, is simply harmful and often not justified. Even if you don't want to do it, it's easy for you to demotivate your loved ones because they will see that no matter what they do, you will never be satisfied with the results. Moreover, this trait leads to the fact that you want to control every aspect of a relationship, and this prevents others from openly expressing their opinions with you. Virgo will benefit from recognizing that no one and nothing is perfect, and that mistakes are a natural part of the learning process. It's important to appreciate spontaneity and enjoy the little things. Libra. Libras naturally seek harmony and balance. If they become obsessed with this, they will become indecisive about even the most insignificant things. They avoid conflict in every way possible, which often leads to suppression of their own feelings and needs. Libras rely too heavily on others to make decisions. Libra's most toxic trait is that they turn other people against each other. Libras don't like to get their hands dirty. They definitely prefer to pass it on to others instead of confronting problems and misunderstandings directly. They prefer to manipulate conflicts between friends. To balance these characteristics, Libra should begin to value their own opinions and the courage to express their feelings and needs. In the end, the much-desired harmony and balance comes from truly being yourself and respecting yourself. Scorpios. Scorpio is characterized by intensity and passion. Because of this, it is difficult for them to give up their desires or interests. They always want to be on top of things and maintain an edge without revealing their secrets. As a result, they are constantly involved in unhealthy relationships based on mistrust. Scorpios have a passion for revenge and rarely forgive wrongs done to them. Their most toxic trait is manipulation. People born under this sign are masters of managing situations from behind the scenes, which makes them ideal, among other things, in professions such as manager, promoter, or psychologist. However, in a toxic manifestation, Scorpios begin to manipulate others to achieve their own goals. This is often due to the intention of avoiding pain, especially in romantic relationships, but manifests as manipulation. Scorpios, be more open in your interactions with people. Your greatest strength lies not in controlling others, but in knowing how to manage your emotions. Sagittarians. Sagittarius is the most optimistic sign of the zodiac, known for their love of adventure. However, when they focus too much on these aspects of their personality, irresponsibility and unreliability will come into play. The most important thing to a Sagittarius is freedom. He strives to obtain it even at the expense of others. It is quite possible that he will avoid serious discussions or commitments. Sagittarius looks at life through rose-colored glasses that make it impossible to see the real problems and challenges. Their most toxic trait is arrogance. Sagittarians are confident and never afraid to say what's on their mind. However, sometimes they cross a fine line. Their comments can be harsh and rude. Their lack of control over their lifestyle sometimes makes them behave immaturely and somewhat irresponsibly. It's time for Sagittarius to learn that independence can coexist with responsibility and some mutual obligations. They should also try to be empathetic from time to time and try to be more involved in what those around them are doing. Capricorns. Capricorns are determined and extremely ambitious people. Sometimes they are so focused on their goals that they don't have time to notice the needs and feelings of people important to him. They are characterized by their pessimism and cynicism, which can be discouraging and effectively inhibit further development. Capricorns are characterized by their conservatism and unwillingness to change, which is a direct path to stagnation. They are harsh critics towards themselves and others. Their most toxic trait is the Capricorn uses others for their own ends. They shamelessly climb on the backs of others and easily sever relationships when they no longer need them. They have no accountability whatsoever. The only thing they are really close to is power. Capricorns are extremely ambitious and hardworking, and once they set a goal, will do anything to achieve it. Unfortunately, sometimes this involves sacrifices that Capricorn is willing to make on the altar of their success, and then they will not hesitate to even take advantage of others. The best solution for Capricorn is to try to balance work and personal life. Learn to appreciate the small joys, not just the big accomplishments. Realize that being open to new ideas and changes doesn't mean giving up your dreams and values. Aquarians. Aquarius is an independent and original zodiac sign. While this usually goes in his favor, sometimes it alienates him excessively from his surroundings and pushes him into the trap of independence. Aquarius then ignores the needs of his loved ones and isolates himself from friends or family for fear of emotional intimacy. His extreme unconventionality prevents him from understanding norms and values. Stubborn and adamant in their beliefs. Their most toxic trait is that Aquarius lacks empathy. Being a deeply intellectual sign, they crave stimulation and novelty, often with little empathy for the people they leave behind. Aquarians are often emotionally unavailable, but this is hard to recognize at first glance, as they tend to create a public image that is very different from their personal image. As a result, you never know what drives an Aquarius and whether they can be trusted at all. Remember that respecting opinions that differ from yours does not limit your creativity and individuality. A sense of belonging and intimacy is just as important as independence. Pisces. Pisces are empathetic by nature and intuitive. Unfortunately, they can also become overly emotional and sensitive. In some situations, they find it difficult to deal with criticism and unpleasant experiences. They tend to run away from reality and immerse themselves in a fantasy world, as long as they are away from worldly concerns and responsibilities. Often too much altruism speaks in their favor. Then far-reaching help to everyone around them causes them to act to their own detriment. Their most toxic trait is their latent narcissism. Unlike Leo, Pisces is characterized by sacrifice and a martyr complex. They will take on all possible emotional burden only to then hold a grudge against you and remind you of it all the time. Pisces needs to start looking at the responsibilities placed upon them without fear. A realistic approach to life is crucial to achieving prosperity and fulfillment. So, did you find your sign or your significant other on this list? Do you agree with what has been said? Share your experiences in the comments.